Okay, so these are metal shelves. You get them at Costco, and they're like $100. I bought a bunch because I'm a crazy person. I'm not actually sure why I thought they'd be such a good idea, but I worked in restaurants, and I kind of thought they looked cool. They're adjustable. You just take these little black plastic things in here, these sleeves. You put two of them together onto those little rings. They're actually grooves, and you set your height on the different pipes, and then they have these double rings so you know where you're at, so that if you need a shelf up here, you just go whatever you tell yourself, one above that, and then that little cuff will go on there in two pieces, and it's real simple. You just jam that down on top of the pipe and it wedges into place. So these are the cuffs. They're thinner at the top, they're thinner up here, and they're fatter on the bottom. So what you do is make sure it's clean. These were used, so they're a little dusty. And then it has these little ribs in here. So there you go. Now you can see both. So those are the ribs. Just make sure they're not too dusty so they can get kind of bite in. So you're going to hear a little click when they're in position. And then this one just matches that square part. And that's it. No fasteners, that is the fastener to hold up the shelf. But you don't need any screwdrivers or anything like that. It does help to have a rubber mallet to bang these apart if you need to dismantle them, so that's handy. But now I can just throw together a shelf for starters. So it helps to have the shelf on its side when you're putting it together. That way you can slide it in. I go all the way to the bottom for starters, unless there's some reason it needs to kind of go over something. And then you just kind of make sure they're tight, and then you just flip it onto the wheels, and then you're good to go. And then you just, like I said, you figure out how far up you want your shelf to be, the next one, and get the clearance that you need. So here it is upright. It's still a little loosey-goosey. Make sure that those are in there tight, but you kind of stomp on them, lock them in, and there it is. Now I can take this is leg stock over here for benches, and then this is skinnier leg stock for benches. So for instance, I can make a pile here and a pile there, and I'll be able to move the whole shelf in my storage space, which would be handy because it's starting to tighten up, which it always does. But I can pull, I don't know, let's say I want to build 3 benches and I need 12 skinnier, the 2x2 leg stock. I just come in here and grab 4 of them, or 5 in case I think one's going to be a dud. And then I can just pull them out the ends, and if I need the other stuff, I can just pull that out the other end. So hopefully this will help me get a little bit more organized with my smaller pieces here in storage. Before I forget, these are the Costco ones. I mean, I've got one set from Home Depot. I think this is it. That's that tag down there. But at this point, I might be mixing and matching because they're the same. But as you can see, there's these actually, the rods are threaded. And so you can thread in receivers, and I don't know if it's 5/16 or 3/8 coming up into it, but if you thread in the pipe at the bottom, and then you can either do the wheels, which I like, but I think it's only 300 pounds. If you do the solid pegs, the feet that don't move, that's like 900, so it's quite a bit more weight holding. But they have these adapters, and so the top is threaded, so it'll be threaded on the bottom and it'll be threaded on the top. And so if you need a taller shelf, like I've had shelves where I use this as a workstation for a power tool with storage underneath. I have a small router table at home set up like that. But if you need a taller shelf, like I have tons of height in this storage space, so I'm not going to go to the ceiling with this, but I definitely want to max out the shelf height. So now I am, it's about 6 feet tall now. So It's going to be a little wobbly until I get another shelf on there, but I do want to get the extensions and get this pallet off the floor because it's kind of sticking out a ways. And then I'll come back when it's dark or there's something else going on, and I'll load these up and organize them, and I'll bring more stuff to figure out what's a good height and if I want to have totes or boxes mixed in here with materials. I might put all my knobs and hardware somewhere on here, maybe down low, where they don't get used as much. So, anyways, just a heads up, when you get up a little higher, when you're dropping these shelves into position, make sure they don't kind of slam the black plastic cuff, because they can knock it down to the next set of rings, and you'll end up with a kind of a crooked shelf, and you don't want to have to take off a bunch of shelves up above to fix a shelf down here. So when you're setting it, just make sure you wiggle this to where it will clear the bottom part of the cylinder here in the shelf, this cuff right here, the metal part, so that the plastic parts will go up inside without getting knocked down. Okie dokie. So I decided to kind of stick with this project. So I put together a shelf, just start at the bottom, and then you cuff your shelves, make sure that they're snug and level. Like I said, it's easier to start the bottom shelf when it's kind of on its side. Just be careful if you got casters, or the pipes are going to want to roll away. And so I have my leg components cut here. I have the other parts over here. I figured out I can only work on so many, so I might as well create the parts and then come and kind of grab what I need. And I'm going to do kind of white pine lumber, and I'm going to separate the Douglas fir, because the Douglas fir is kind of really brown and red, and it's not as popular for what I'm trying to do. So anyways, that, and then I found out that the pipes aren't compatible. The extensions, the Home Depot and the Costco ones are a different diameter here, so the extension pipes are really loose, so I'm just going to skip those for now. I have some tools I'm going to put up for sale. I got from an estate sale, basically, and a bunch of extra cords I got to figure out what to do with. And so this helped organize it. I got my plastic pallets off the floor. I don't know if I like those here. I sold some. I've got a business nearby that gets rid of them for free. And so I cleared off my pallet back here where I'm stacking all my reclaimed woods. So this might be more bench stock here. But like I said, I'm going to try to kind of get away from the Douglas fir, which is this really serious reddish brown. These are some kind of reclaimed IKEA drawers from my other storage space that has leftovers. Like, people just kind of leave stuff behind when they move out of their storage spaces. And so there's some good maple plywood here. There's some laminated, I don't know if it's maple, but if I'm going to make a kind of an inexpensive set of nightstands, I can reclaim a lot of it out of here, because you burn through a lot of plywood when you're making drawers. So this is the space that I have for standing up tallboy dressers. Those are going to be for the ones in the driveway. We'll see what kind of shape they're in when they come in, and then I'll be parking the tallboys on carts because they don't take up quite as much floor space, and then figuring out what to do with them. I can probably get a tallboy where this is, but I think this is going to be like a workbench area, so I'm probably going to roll this in the back, get it out of the way, probably get these pallets out of here, and then I'm going to have, this is kind of the nicest light coming in, and then that's going to be, I really got to clean it, but that's going to be tool organization and just some simple basic stuff. And it's right now it's collecting my keys, leftover cups, and this used to be a desk, antique oak desk. There wasn't enough left of it to salvage it as a desk, so it's here now waiting to be turned into something else. So all right, that's what got us here, so that's it so far.